First question, do I need to use this or can everybody hear me without this? Is it okay like this?
Yeah, надо press the button.
I don't want to, but I...
Почему так?
Okay, is this better?
No, it's okay, because I listen from here.
Okay.
And the backbenchers, they should listen to you.
It's better like this. Okay, so a lot of the things have already been told to you by our dear Mr. Shaki, but I will like to welcome you again here. So me and Mark will be presenting the program, but we will also be telling you some things about our country and some things about the city that the university is in. We will actually start with that. We have some very nice pictures prepared for you. And the essential point is that we would really like you to be interested in our double degree program. As Mr. Shakin said already, it's between the University of Primorska and Moscow State University, Moscow School of Economics, which at the end offers you 2 master's degrees. So 2 diplomas, one from each university. So firstly, Marko will present something about studying in Koper, Slovenia.
So if you are interested in this program, you will be studying in Koper, which is on the coast of Slovenia. It's an old, small Mediterranean city with old city center where the faculty and university is located. Here we put a picture of Slovenia where it's located. As Mr. Shakin already said, it's close to Croatia. And Italy, you have like 8 kilometers to Trieste. In Italy, the Venice is 1.5 hours away. You have, can you go back a little bit? From Ljubljana, you have like 1 hour to Koper. Yeah, Ljubljana is the capital of Slovenia. You can go on. And then, if you, to have a feeling where the Slovenia is located, is right here. And it's in EU, which enables you to travel across all countries that are located in European Union, and you have like plane tickets from Venice in Italy for 20 euros. You can go to London, Paris, and so on. And we put the picture of Venice here. These are the pictures of one of the most beautiful beaches in Slovenia, which is like 10 minutes away from Koper. This is the picture of our capital city, Ljubljana, and this is also the city of the picture of one of the city which is located close to Koper.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Really amazing.
Yeah, it's good.
And not only the pictures, but Ljubljana as well. Yes.
So about the program, we will talk about other things a bit later as well. So as you already have heard, the first year is in Koper, Slovenia. You have classes that are very diverse. It's from accounting to macroeconomics, econometrics, very wide subject area. The professors are very qualified. On the picture here, you see Mr. Andrej Bertoncel. He is actually the Minister of Finance of Slovenia, still currently, and he was teaching us on private equity last year. And this lady on the second picture used to be the vice governor of the Slovenian Central Bank. So obviously a lot of other professors are very qualified as well, but these are like 2 examples of very high profile Minister of Finance and Vice Governor of the bank. So just as a technicality, classes are in the afternoon, so after 4:30. Most of us actually worked as students besides studying, because in Slovenia it's very common for students to have some sort of a student job, which is very flexible. You don't have to do it every day, but you as students in Slovenia will also have the option to legally work as students, to get maybe some experience. So then, for all foreign students, the university provides a Slovenian language course, which is for you to learn some of the basics of the language. The language, although the examples you've heard are quite different, essentially it's very similar. And if you would like, it's possible for you to learn quite well Slovenian. A lot of words are very similar, and you will have classes. What is interesting is that the program, so the branch is the only one in the EU, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah. Okay. Sure, yeah. So this means that your double diploma, which will be from this university and Slovenian university, You are employable in all countries of the European Union. It is internationally recognized, and it opens you to new markets if, for example, you would like to seek new job opportunities in European Union or maybe in European companies in Russia as well, right? But essentially, it does, I believe personally, that it does increase your employment opportunities because you have 2 degrees from 2 different universities and an international experience.
And no, I beg your pardon. You have 1 degree, which is master degree.
Yeah.
You defended and etc. But you have 2 diplomas,
Yes.
which gives you a chance or opportunity to serve in each and every country,
Yeah,
all over the Europe or Russia,
yeah, recognized in 2 universities.
because it's recognized here and there.
Additionally, you can make a lot of friends. This university is actually quite young, but it attracts a lot of people from abroad, and we have a 15% international students ratio. I think it's even bigger, but the last number that I found was 15%. It's very open to foreigners. It also provides a lot of help for foreign students that come. That's why people like to come. It's also a much smaller university, so there is more individual help, let's say. The University of Ljubljana, for example, is much bigger, and it doesn't help individual students as much as this one. Here, really, I can vouch personally that any problems that students have are solved immediately by the dean or like whoever you turn to. Like, it's very, very easy, and a lot of help is offered by the university as such. Okay.
So here we have some formalities about the program and the application. The first application period is from 8th of April to 1st of July. The second one is from 20th of July and 27th of August. The enrollment fee for the program is around 42 euros, and the tuition fee is 7,000 euros per year, which you will pay for the first year. You also have the scholarship options in Slovenia, and if you want to have some additional information about this, we will give you the contacts at the end of the presentation. And what is also important, you will have additional tests to pass if you apply for the program, is the exam from the economics and the English. Last year we also have one classmate from Russia that decided to apply for this program. Her English level was not so high, so you don't have to worry about this, because you will pick up during the year, and I think it's not so hard to pass those exams.
I think you are speaking about Dinara.
Dinara, yeah.
Но Динара, она вообще по национальности чеченка, наша русская, которая учится на этой программе. Дело в том, что программа, она joint, она совместная программа, поэтому мы учитываем те требования и реалии, которые существуют в Европейском Союзе, да? Потому что это полностью, так сказать, университет Европейского Союза, Болонского пространства. И то, что требуется у нас в МГУ. Поэтому люди поступают, так сказать, сразу поступают и считаются студентом МГУ и студент Копельского университета. Вот таких у нас, например, Динара, это с вами, она уже здесь учится на этом курсе. А там Миша сейчас, you know Misha, yeah? Misha joined the first course of the master program there, and he's studying there in Koper.
Yes.
Отсюда. Он очень доволен, и как самоорганизованный общины, very much satisfied in career. Okay, go on. I'm sorry.
So the most important thing to remember here is that don't worry about levels of English. Sometimes students are way too critical about their knowledge of English. Some people speak English perfectly fine, but they say, oh, I don't speak English that well. So if you want to make sure if your knowledge is sufficient, you can send us an email. I also have my contact or my WhatsApp number at the end, and you can contact me and ask about these requirements. So don't say, oh, my English is not good enough. The important part is that you understand what the classes are saying, that you don't have to have a C2 and be perfect in English, right? You will learn a lot as you go, so don't let this stop you. You can, if you have concerns, just text me and we will figure out what the requirements are. Then we have some really nice things for students in Slovenia, actually, that I have to admit are quite unique. The first thing is that we have food vouchers for students. Food vouchers are a thing. So at the beginning of the year, you go to this office with your cell phone. They have this terminal. You call a number, and they put like 30 food vouchers on your phone. So then you can go to almost any restaurant in the country, and you just call a number, like 1808, something like that. You call it, and the restaurant has this terminal, and you just call this number, and you pay your price for the meal with this discount is like €2 and something. So like 140 rubles, right? So this is a government subsidized food program that each student in the country gets, even foreign students, right? This means that your living costs are significantly lower because you can eat in all sorts of restaurants like Chinese and Mexican and pizzerias and whatever you want, and it's really extremely cheap. So students in Slovenia don't have a problem with food. No one cooks, we just eat outside and we can choose every day to eat something different. This is a very unique program. I have not heard of a country that has that, but it is very, very convenient for students. In Koper, you will not need any public transport, so you don't need to count the costs of any transport or metro. The whole country does not have a metro system because it's very close. So the university is in the strict center, the faculty itself is in the center. If you stay in Koper, you can walk everywhere. It's a 10-minute walk to go anywhere. It's very, very convenient. The weather is extremely nice. So the lowest winter temperature is 5 degrees. When it's 0, the people are freezing and they don't know what to do because they think they will die because of cold, and it's only 0. And during summer it gets like 35, not always, but it's very, very warm. You can swim in the sea from sometimes May to October almost, because it's very, very warm there. It depends on how crazy you are, but technically summers are very nice. You can go to the beach and enjoy your time. So to you guys, you're used to Moscow prices. Koper will be very cheap to you. It won't be as cheap as going to some weird developing country in Africa, but it's compared to Moscow, the prices are cheaper. And as I already said, you have some student job opportunities.
Yeah, also you forgot to mention the accommodation prices are very low in Slovenia comparing to Russia, especially to Moscow. And as Slovenian students, you're going to have a proper student yeah, you will have student status, which enables you to work as a student and to earn some additional profit. We are now in talk to our dean to maybe organize some Russian lectures for Slovenian students, for which you can get paid, but this is just in conversation for now. As we mentioned, Slovenia is located between Italy, Croatia, Austria and Hungary. From one part of the country, from Koper, to another part of the country where I come from, you have like 2 hours and a half, which is in Moscow. You get to the center. And
but okay.
yeah. And what is important for those Russian students that came to Slovenia for now, we help them to find the accommodation in advance. We even get to pick them up from the airport so that you're not on your own when you come to the country. And what you will be happy about on the coast, especially on the coast in Izola and Koper, we have a large Russian diaspora. I mean, I myself met like 20 Russians on the coast, and last year we organized a Russian poetry night, and there were like 50 Russians came to this poetry.
Yeah. And these are only...
So you will not be alone.
Yeah.
Only Russians in Slovenia.
So I think this is really nice because we don't have student dorms. In Slovenia, campus is not really a thing. no university has a campus. This is because universities were very old in the very old city center, and then when they expanded, there was no place in the strict center to build these student accommodations and so on. So students seek private accommodation. But the prices are, I would say, for a room you would spend approximately 150 to 200 plus minus expenses. But we will definitely help you with that because we all are aware that it's hard to find accommodation in a foreign country, in a foreign language. So no need to worry about that. So then lastly, these are the contacts. So the first contact is our dean, who is actually very helpful, but he is also a very busy man. So if you have any questions, I would suggest you text me or send me an email, or perhaps Sasha, who is working in the dean's office. I suggest that for now, if you have any questions, it would be maybe best to just talk to me. I can give you first-hand experience about how I like the program, or what the problems are, or if you have any issues or questions. I think this is nice because it can be less formal, and you can talk to me freely about any second thoughts you might have. But everyone at Moscow School of Economics will be also happy to give you more information. If you prefer the non-formal way, you can.
Запишите контакты Барбары.
Yeah, so you can do that.
Барбара Шваб. И потом one more interference, friendly interference. That now we have a branch, Moscow State University branch there in Kota. То есть мы открыли филиал Московского государственного университета в Копере во взаимодействии с университетом Приморска в Копере. И этот филиал, там есть директор этого филиала Наташа, утвержденная ректором, выпускница МГУ, социологического факультета, кандидат наук. А первый заместитель директора филиала в Копере — это наш Михаил Михайлович Лобанов, он преподает зарубежную географию, региональную политику здесь у вас. Вот. Михаил Михайлович Лобанов, он заместитель там считается. Он прекрасно знает сербский, славянский. Жена у него сербка, которая, кстати, училась в Мариборе, это славянский университет. So the contacts are very close, so you can rely on the people who are there. They will help you anytime. А Динару вы не притащили сюда? Динара is not here?
No. I mean, she is in Moscow, yes.
She is in Moscow, but she is a student, by the way. And I hope she participates.
Yes. So this is basically it. We didn't want to have too long of a presentation, so no one falls asleep. But we would really like to get some of your questions, if you have any. Even if it's something that we already said, we can repeat it, no problem. So. Yes.
Maybe you have any kind of information concerning the place of Primorsk University in the world university rankings, or something like that, and maybe the employability rate.
I can send you that to your email if you give me your contact. I don't know them by heart actually. I'm just a student.
Employability rate is around 90%.
Oh, okay. Employability rate 90%. But for the rankings, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean
we didn't do research on the rankings, but I can send you to your email, or you can contact me. It's quite different because when we in Slovenia are deciding to study at universities, rankings are culturally not our criteria. I don't know anyone in Slovenia who would decide where
Это у
to
нас
study.
сейчас забивает голову этими рэнкингами, это не самое главное, потому что по одному предмету один университет, по другому другой, so it depends on the subject, on the will.
yeah, we have
So rankings,
just
it's
3
just
universities.
very well.
I know that the only rankings that I do know is that the University of Primorska got an award for international student participation, and that it's in the top 500 world universities and increasing every year because it's quite young. So that's the only information I know. But I can, if you want more detailed information, I can provide you with that. No problem. Any other questions?
Ну, тогда запишите вот эти возможности, которые... Там, я вам скажу так, what I can add. Там очень хорошая практика. Они посылают компании, причем, вот я не знаю, насколько вы знаете Словению, вообще эту страну, там от замечательного меда, который монахи готовят, до оливкового масла, вина и лошадок, вот если вы увидите белых лошадок, на которых ездят королевы, вот, впряжены, да, там и английская королева, и, кстати говоря, в Австрии, в Вене, то эти лошадки, I'm speaking about horses, the white horses, growing, они там, в Словении. А еще в Словении, она страна маленькая, и вот, значит, допустим, вы отдыхаете на курорте Средиземноморском, и 250 километров, и вы уже поднимаетесь в горы. И там лыжные трассы, там, значит, все, что положено, потому что это уже рядом с городом Инсбрук, вы помните, Олимпийские игры там проводились, Хлагенфурт, Грац, это вот как раз рядом со Словенией, это австрийские города. Градец. Они называют только не Грац, они называют Градец. Градец.
And first.
Да. So very interesting country. Very interesting. И еще, значит, speaking about their university. Of course, it's not. We can speak about ranking. It's too early because Koper Primorska University appeared or was founded 16 or 18 years ago. But from the point of the technologies, of the methodics they are exercising there, they are using there, it's upgraded and absolutely modern methodics. Because old universities, you know, they are not such maneuverable, and sometimes they are old enough to exercise and to use the new methodics. As for them, they are very maneuverable. That is why the Moscow State University, which is one, the oldest in our country and number one in our country, but we have chosen them to be our partners. So it depends. But no university, of course, recognized it's on the list of the Bolognian space. The higher education Bolognian space, all the advantages they have.
Maybe what is interesting that you just mentioned, there is this, I don't know if it's a myth or if people actually do that, but in one day it is possible to go skiing in the Alps, in the Alpine region, and then go swimming in the seaside. And then go to eat some, I don't know, weird Hungarian food that you guys eat in that part of the country, I don't know. So it gives you such a diverse environment. It's not like a big country where you have to drive for 10 hours and you're still in the same geographical area. We have many different ones in a very small space, right? And I travel all the time for like 20 euros tickets from Venice to Morocco, England, Germany, wherever you want to go.
Но еще что, вот вы экономисты. Вы знаете, что наиболее быстрыми темпами из кризиса вышла Словения. Вот все были в кризисе, ну там страны ПИКС, это понятно, они там. А вот у них были темпы выше 8%. И они, так сказать, преодолели. И со времен Югославии Словения в составе Югославии была, потом они раскололись, Хорватия это одна страна, там Сербия другая, Черногория третья. Но Словения была самая развитая из них с точки зрения промышленности. И сейчас там концентрируются очень современные технологии, и IT-технологии, связи. Вот, там, ну, вот, недавно я присутствовал на встрече с президентом Словении, и там как раз были наши бизнесмены. Один из наших олигархов хапнул там Искра Телеком. Very great big shares there. То есть это очень высокодоходные предприятия, которые сосредоточены там. Так вот, кто учится на нашем курсе, они вводят на практику на эти предприятия и показывают, как они управляются, как там дела обстоят и так далее. And one more thing. We decided to organize the international seminar there, conference, for young people. Young professors, young students, young PhD course students, and we usually Koper University, together with us, we organized it in different countries. Once it was organized in Croatia. Secondly, it was organized in Bled. Then it was in Venice. В Венеции мы организовали конференцию, как раз туда приезжали наши девочки с 4-го курса, и это было вообще очень здорово, выступили. Там было Лаврова, там кто-то еще был. Вот, и тогда это был фурор. 4-курсницы бакалавриата выступили на международной конференции и с таким очень интересным докладом. Вот какой доклад вы сами прочитаете? I'm not going to tell you everything in details. Да, let them read it, if they are interested. И были опубликованы во всех вот журналах Испания, Франция, выступления. Потому что конференция, которую Коперский университет организовывает, это international conference. And one more thing, because Koper University will be held the conference in mathematics, all European conference. We are waiting there, потому что у них ректор, now today's rector and the previous one, they are outstanding scientists in mathematics, in the theory of graphs, used in economics as well, very efficiently. Вот. Был Марусич, сейчас Клаудия, очень very young rector, very great, interesting mathematician. She is. What Koper University? Barbara, пожалуйста.
If anyone has a question, feel free. If not, you have our contacts. You can ask us whatever you want. So, if there are no questions, I would really like to.
Ну, они, да, могут подойти к вам в таком в режиме короткой беседы, пожалуйста. Уточнение.
Okay, if there are no questions, I would kindly like to thank you for your attention. You have been very nice. Thank you for your questions. Thank you.
А еще прочитайте про Каподистрию. Вы знаете, был такой министр иностранных дел, который и в Италии был, и у нас.